Union states were states that remained loyal to the Constitution, which were composed of 20 slave-free states and 4 border slave states that supported it. It was led by President Abraham Lincoln. Meanwhile, the Confederate States were states that, well, basically, seceded from the Union. They were composed of 11 southern states. It was led by their only president, Jefferson Davis.
What does secede mean, Josh?
To secede is to withdraw from a larger group, often a political entity.
Ah, okay. So let's talk about the events that led to the American Civil War. First is the Missouri Compromise in 1820. It was a series of agreements that settled a bitter national debate about the territories bought during the Louisiana Purchase. It made Missouri a slave state and Maine a free state, which preserved the congressional balance.
Next is the Nat Turner's Rebellion in 1831. A slave named Nat Turner incited an uprising that spread through several plantations in southern Virginia. Turner and approximately 70 cohorts killed around 60 white people. Virginia lawmakers reacted to the crisis by rolling back what few civil rights slaves and free black people possessed at the time.
Up next is the Wilmot Proviso from 1846 to 1850. It was a piece of legislation that would have made the territories acquired by the U.S. during the Mexican-American War slave-free. The debate prompted the first serious discussion about secession.
Fourthly, we have the Compromise of 1850. It prevented further territorial expansions of slavery, but compelled the Northerners to seize and return escaped slaves to the South. It partially eased the tension between two sides, but in some ways, even reinforced the structural disparity that divided the United States.
In 1852, Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin was published and released to the public. This brought life to the issue of slavery and gradually intensified the conflict between both sides.
The Bleeding Kansas from 1854 to 1861 was a chaotic event between pro and anti-slavery agitators hoping to shift the decision of the KansasNebraska Act using sheer weight of numbers. The two sides struggled for 5 years with sporadic outbreaks of violence that claimed 56 lives and left thousands injured. The violence shocked and troubled the entire nation.
In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected president. This led to the secession of 11 southern states and eventually led to the formation of the Confederate States.
Lastly, the final trigger for the war was the siege at Fort Sumter. In April 12, 1861, Confederate forces attacked the Union fort in Charleston, South Carolina, and bombarded the stronghold for 34 hours. 2 days after this event, the Union States declared war against the Confederate States.